Canada's automotive industry, a cornerstone of the nation's economy, is facing an unprecedented crisis. With the recent imposition of tariffs by the United States under the Trump administration, the sector has been hit hard, and I mean brutally hard. This has led to an enormous decline in manufacturing and sales, and no one realizes it, but Canada's economy, it is reliant very significantly on this sector. The tariffs are a significant blow to the Canadian automotive industry, warns Flavio Volpe, president of the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association. This video will prove that Canada's automotive industry is indeed in crisis, drawing on recent data and expert insights to highlight the severity of the situation. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Guys, if you'd like to see exclusive interviews and other videos unavailable on our main channel, you can become a YouTube member. I'll put a link in the description below. It's easy to do, and it's very, very cheap. A vital industry under threat. The automotive industry is a critical pillar of Canada's economy, contributing billions to the GDP and employing hundreds of thousands of workers. As a major exporter, Canada relies heavily on the United States, its largest market, where most Canadian-made vehicles and parts are actually sold. Well, at least they were. Anyway, the Trump administration's tariffs on Canadian automotive products have disrupted this vital trade relationship, sending shockwaves all through the industry. According to a recent report by Automotive News, auto manufacturing sales in Canada experienced their largest monthly drop in years in April of 2025. Exports of motor vehicles and parts plummeted by 21.1%. A staggering decline, which is said to have been worse in May and is attributed to weaker demand for certain Canada-made vehicles and the idling of assembly plants in Ontario. Really, it's only about to get worse. This sharp downturn signals a crisis that threatens the industry's entire stability and its role in Canada's national economy. The tariffs have directly impacted manufacturing and sales, two key indicators of the industry's health. The 21.1% drop in exports, which is said to have been even worse in May, reflects not only reduced demand in the United States, but also logistical challenges as plants are pausing operations. Ontario, the heart of Canada's automotive production, has seen several assembly plants idle as manufacturers are retooling to try to adapt to shifting market conditions, a process made more urgent and costly by tariffs. Electric vehicle sales, a growing segment of the industry, are also now suffering. For the first time in 14 months, EV registrations in Canada fell in April 2025, mirroring a 16% slide for Tesla in the US market. This decline suggests a broader trend of weakening demand for EVs in North America, unlike the rest of the world where electric cars have grown by 30%, a critical area of growth for Canadian automakers. As the global industry shifts towards sustainable technologies, this setback will undermine Canada's competitive edge on a global scale. But the broader economic fallout is going to be just as significant. The crisis extends beyond the factory floor, threatening Canada's broader economy. Its GDP growth is set to suffer. The automotive sector supports a vast network of jobs, from assembly line workers to suppliers and service providers. In fact, one job in the automotive industry is said to employ 10 indirect jobs. That's huge. Economist Jim Stanford warns of a potential hollowing out of the industry, predicting job losses and reduced investment that will ripple across the economy. A decline in automotive activity will shrink GDP, he says, weaken consumer spending, and erode economic confidence, which could lead to a recession. The tariffs are part of a larger US-Canada trade dispute, amplifying their impact and the complexity. As trade tensions are escalating, Canada faces the risk of losing its position as a key player in the North American automotive market. This is one of the biggest markets in the world. In fact, it's second only to China. The stakes are very high. A prolonged crisis will reshape the industry's competitive landscape, making recovery a very difficult uphill battle, especially when Chinese automakers are racing to make cars, batteries, components, everything you can think of, e-revs, plug-in hybrids, and they're making them better. They're making them better than the US is. They're making them better than Europe is. They're taking market share on a global scale. And anything that happens in Canada, a small slowdown, what happens? Who's going to step in and take up the slack? Well, obviously, it's the Chinese taking market share. Expert voices are sounding the alarm. Industry leaders and analysts are united in their concern. Flavio Volpe emphasizes the immediate toll. We are already seeing job losses and reduced investment. If this continues, it will lead to a permanent decline in the industry, he said. Stanford echoes this sentiment, noting that the tariffs exacerbate existing challenges such as the global shift to EVs and even autonomous vehicles. These expert warnings underscore the urgency of the crisis and the need for immediate action. The Canadian government has retaliated with counter tariffs on US-made vehicles and parts, but these measures may not fully offset the damage. Policymakers are also exploring strategies like diversifying export markets and investing in innovative technologies to try to bolster the industry, but that could take years. And the road ahead is completely uncertain. The tariffs have exposed vulnerabilities in Canada's automotive sector. It's just too reliant on the United States. And adapting to this new reality will require enormous effort and resources, the kind of effort and resources that Canada may not have at its disposal. Canada's automotive industry is unquestionably in crisis. The Trump administration's tariffs, which could go up, could go down, you never know with Trump, he could do anything on any given day. They triggered a steep decline in manufacturing and sales, with exports dropping by 21% and EV registrations falling. The economic fallout, job losses, reduced investment, and potential GDP contraction threatens not just the industry, but the nation as a whole. While government interventions and industry resilience offer hope, the coming years will be a defining test. But really, let's be honest, we are going to see a decline in the automotive industry in Canada, the US, and Europe. As Volpe aptly puts it, this is a significant blow. And without swift, strategic action, Canada's automotive legacy could be in the rearview mirror. Let me know how you feel about this in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.